Like Pear, I'm totally good with you. I was just
No.
if you thought I was
kidding me,
actually
man?
mad, I'm very sorry.
You guys would have to do a lot to get me pissed.
Why
Trust
do I
me.
feel like crying? That was such a
I
sweet
don't know.
moment.
What?
Oh. What?
That was not a sweet moment, Inaki.
That was a rude
moment is what that was.
Flash.
Wait,
All right. Do we want to get in?
Universe.
Yeah, want to get into the movie here?
All right. It only took us 36 minutes.
Don't talk about it, dude.
So this week we watched Flash Gordon.
Flash, they'll kill you.
When I mean we, I mean they watched Flash Gordon.
The 1980 cult classic, starring nobody you really know.
Not true, but I'll get into that later.
Okay, I'm really curious who you know in this cast because I've seen like 800 movies and I know none of them. With the theme by Queen, which honestly is, I think, probably where at least half of their budget went, which is very apparent because they used the song about 14, 15 times.
They used this song by Queen, and it's awesome because it's just this rock song. And like, what's great about this movie is that at random times where you wouldn't expect it, just like rock music starts playing. Like most of the score is like orchestral, and then out of nowhere, electric guitar, and it's awesome.
So, pretty much, here, just to go into the facts before I get into the nitty-gritty stuff. So it had a budget of $20 million. It was directed by Mike Hodges, who's not really directed anything super popular since then.
Or before.
Yeah.
Or during.
But, yeah, the music is by Queen. Again, it was released on December 5th in 1980. But it is based off of an older film, and that film is based off of a comic book, which you guys know from watching the movie. They have that whole comic book thing. But it's from 1932, 1934.
Split the difference, say 33.
And pretty much it was like it was what it is. It's like a cool space adventure for boys, right? And also having a little bit, well, not a little bit, a lot of bit of propaganda slipped in.
Well, and one thing I think is interesting going into the plot of this movie a little bit, just so that people have some kind of anchor to understand.
Yeah, let's talk about the plot.
That's true. Yeah, I immediately went into my thoughts.
Yeah, Flash Gordon is about a dude named Flash Gordon and this woman named Dale who he meets while he's traveling. I don't think we really know the details of it. But
he was on vacation from being a New York Jet.
Yeah, basically. He's a football player. And basically what happens is there's all these disasters happening around the world, and the moon gets knocked off its axis and it's starting to fall to Earth. And the whole phenomena is messing with their plane. They crash land. They meet a mad scientist, you could say, who's not evil. He's just very out there and very assertive.
He's from NASA, but NASA kicked him out. I feel like that's important because NASA then says that there's nothing wrong and that the moon falling to Earth is perfectly normal.
Yeah.
So is he mad?
Yeah, everyone's discounting his theories, but he's the only scientist who is locked onto the fact that the moon is going to crash into Earth. So he has built a spaceship. He has located this vortex in space that all this interference is coming from. And he said, I'm going to go up in the rocket ship, but I need someone else to come with me. At that moment, Flash and Dale, their plane crash lands next to his laboratory, and he kidnaps them, basically. Laboratory. Yeah, literally into his laboratory. I guess you're right. Yeah, crashes into the wall. And he basically kidnaps them, forces them on this spaceship, and he says, we have 11 days to stop the moon from crashing into Earth, and we're going to go through this vortex, and save the Earth. Now, this vortex is the first moment where I said, okay, there's something really cool going on with this movie, because this is where the visuals start going, before this thing start going normal, but it's at this moment that the visuals become 2001 Space Odyssey, but on even more acid. And I was just like,
I know about that.
We need to stop bringing up such like iconic classic movies in comparison to like Trog and Flash Gordon, and like, not saying I didn't love Flash Gordon, but I'm just saying like there's no comparison. Okay.
Yeah, but also I feel like this movie really is basically like 2001: A Space Odyssey mixed with Star Wars, add copious amounts of acid, and that's
I would say, and
what
this
this
would
movie
be an
is.
apt comparison because this is known as not a very good movie. What it reminded me of is Mortal Kombat, the movie, a little bit.
Just with the costumes and like sets.
I would say the costumes and also just the whole character dynamic with the Emperor and his sexy, deceivious daughter who ends up helping, that whole thing. So also with
Not
it
a good movie,
kind of
by
a
the way.
cheesy 80s, 90s movie, so it just reminded me of Mortal Kombat.
By the way, not a very good movie is so generous for Mortal Kombat. Like,
It's a video game movie, so I can't grade it on the
generous
same
description.
Because, like, what is the best video game movie ever?
I would honestly argue the best video game movie is Edge of Tomorrow, which is not directly based off a video game, but is
It's based
very,
off of an anime.
but
It feels like a video
game-esque. Like the
Yeah.
whole thing is respawning every time you die, but learning a little bit. Like that's like every shooter
It's,
and like platformer ever. It's Dark
Yeah.
Souls, the game, but set in sci-fi.
I've actually read the manga behind it, and it has the most hilarious name. It's called All You Need Is Kill.
Oh yeah,
And that's what Edge of Tomorrow was based off of.
I think the name was slightly better.
Yes.
yeah, I don't know why they changed it.
Well, then they changed it again. It was like live, die, repeat as well. Anyway, Flash Gordon.
Yeah. So we land. They go through this vortex and they land on this world called Mongo, which, as we've discussed, is not problematic at all. And they're basically taken as prisoners, and they go to the court of Emperor Ming. And this is where the movie goes from 0 to 60 in like 0.2 seconds, because if the vortex scene got me to realize this was going to be an interesting movie, this was the scene that made me realize that this movie was going to blow me out of the water, because just the costume and set design on this is crazy. It's like Hunger Games meets Conan the Barbarian meets Wizards of Oz meets Black Panther meets like King Arthur for some reason. It is insane.
That's
all these different kinds of costumes.
accurate.
Right? Because like,
That's so.
okay,
How long did you think of that?
because I'm watching on the screen, I'm like, oh look, that's a group of people dressed up like Wakanda. Look, we have literal munchkins are in this court dancing around, and then like it seems pretty crazy, and then all of a sudden, male Valkyries fly in, and they're just like hitting people, and it's just amazing.
And
yeah.
I just have to give an honorable mention. This is such a small moment in the movie. I don't know if you guys even remember, but when that like little drone guy is like coming and there's the fisheye lens and whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then like they show this scene where Lizard Man like runs across
Lizard Man.
and like the drone just is like zap and just dies. That moment was just so like random, and yet
I'm pretty sure there are 3 lizard people that are just every time there's a lizard person, it's the same 3 dudes.
it's beautiful. That scene, it like really got me in the mood for the whole movie. I was like, I know exactly what kind of movie I'm getting into, and I'm excited and I'm ready for it. It was Lizard Man.
Okay, so basically they're held captive. The Emperor really likes the girl Dale.
Yeah.
And decides to keep her, but like kill and then have the agent, the scientist, become an agent for them and like give him all their knowledge or whatever, but wipe his mind, and then just kill Flash Gordon because he tries to cause a revolt. I can talk.
Yeah. So basically, what happens is Flash says, "You're not getting Dale," and then Ming says, "Oh, you don't think so?" And they says, "Guards, attack!" So all the guards attack Flash Gordon, and he pulls what I can only describe as a Bugs Bunny move. You know how like a villain will be chasing Bugs Bunny, and he'll be like dressed up as a grocery store clerk, and he'll be like, "Sorry, boss, you don't have enough change. Do you have anything in your pocket?" And like Yosemite Sam will be distracted enough to look in his pocket, and then Bugs Bunny will run away.
Mm-hmm.
So Flash Gordon does that. He literally plays football with these guards to distract them from fighting him.
With a Fabergé egg, which was
Yeah.
I was never sure what that was. I thought it might just be like their version of a football. I
Yeah.
couldn't tell that it was a Fabergé egg
they were all offering it up to the emperor. That's why I think it was.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And again, this is like the perfect like. I mean, it almost makes sense that this is a British like interpretation of what the American ideal is of like the main hero just literally playing football to fight the bad guys, and then the girl, the heroine, going "Go Flash, go!" Like
Right, just doing cheerleader poses.
Yeah. It's so over the top in the best way, and like that scene is so funny to watch. And a fun fact here: apparently, it was totally improvised by the two main actors because they were just like, I guess we're supposed to be super Americans, like you would play football and I'd cheer you on, and it's just like, and they just went with it.
Wasn't choreographed?
I mean, maybe like after they brought up the idea,
Yeah,
but like
maybe after the
Oh
fact.
god.
but Dale's actress, Melody Anderson, she was just like, this is what we should do, and like everyone on set was like, yeah. Like we have this egg.
Checks out.
I think the whole describing the whole plot would take a long time just because of how like crazy weird it gets. But like the whole movie just has this tone where it's like, what is the thing that would create the weirdest situation we can do here?
Mhm.
Okay, let's do that. Like, how about a manhood ceremony where if you stick your arm in the wrong hole, you die? Like,
And it's literally luck.
it's just luck. It's not manhood. It's just there's a 1 in like 6 chance that if you try to become a man in our society, you die.
Because he did this whole football fighting scene with the guards, Flash Gordon gets sentenced to death by Emperor Ming. Now, Emperor Ming has this daughter, the Princess Aura. And she's awesome because she makes out with like every man in this movie, and it's awesome. And so she's got them all wrapped around her finger. She gets the court doctor to secretly not kill Flash, but make it look like he's dead, and then revive him before he's going to get buried. So Flash is alive, and Princess Aura describes the political situation and says, look, Mongo is an empire that's run by all these different kingdoms with all these different princes. And they're always at war with each other, these princes. And so they don't have the power to overthrow the emperor. And Flash realizes that he needs to bring all the princes together to be able to take down the emperor and save Earth. Because
Also
if not,
pretty much Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
basically, yeah.
It's the same thing. But I feel like I could sum up the story pretty quickly for people. Is just malicious, all-powerful space emperor who is bored, sets his eyes on Earth. American hero goes on to unite all of his oppressed territories together against him to save Earth. That's pretty much what it
And
is.
meanwhile, every girl tries to get with him, pretty much.
Oh, yeah. It's Flash Gordon. Come on,
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
I mean, that's essentially the whole plot, and I guess in a way it's predictable. Of course, he wins. Spoiler alert. In a really fantastical way.
Well, the final battle is really awesome. And that's when, I mean, because this movie is great, I'm going to propose something before we go on. I think because we've given the overview of the plot, let's all just describe our favorite scene. And then after we're all done with that, we'll describe the final battle. What do you guys
Okay.
think?
I like
Yeah,
that.
that works for me.
Okay, who wants to go
My
first?
favorite thing, I got mine. Mine is early on in the movie, the interpretive erotic dance beam. Does this make sense to you guys?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
Ming uses his laser on on the girl for the first time, it causes her to just like weirdly sexily dance at him. And he literally turns to his like his right hand man and just goes, I haven't seen a response this powerful since my own daughter, which has really creepy implications because it is very clearly
your own daughter. So he means the princess, who is knowingly very.
Yeah, but the whole idea is like he is talking about his own kid.
Yeah.
And
that's the point.
Describing
That
a powerful erotic.
He's an evil
dance.
bastard, right?
Yeah, so it's like, But yeah, I would say the interpretive erotic dance beam was probably like my most like absolutely what is happening here. I love it. Scene.
I find it interesting you say that because that's one of my least favorite scenes.
Well, here's the thing, and I would also agree with Inaki, like, it wasn't bad, but, I mean, it really has no point. The one thing that I will give it, and the thing about this movie is that it just leans really hard into cliches and, like, one-liners. And so this exotic dance beam hits Dale, and she dances, and the professor basically turns to Flash and says, "What was that?" And Flash Gordon goes, "I don't know, but I kind of liked it." And that's the old, like, the beam is never mentioned again. We never come back to it. It's never revisited. It's just
wait. He tries to stop Flash at the very end with it, but he can't because his power is fading.
That's true.
It's the same beam.
It's the same beam. Yeah,
he was gonna.
It out of his...
It's coming from the freaking ring or whatever.
So this ring, it's not an erotic dance beam. It's like a mind control beam.
It's a mind control beam with an erotic dance setting. Like you just like twist the ring around your finger, and you've got stun, you've got tase, you've got kill, you've got erotic dance. Like
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like I don't think that scene is good. I just think it's absolutely hysterical, and I laughed the entire time.
I want to say mine really quick. Mine's just really, really fast. It was just one line that made me burst out laughing. Probably for like I didn't even listen to the movie for like a minute and a half afterwards. It's when the princess and Flash are in the ship, and she's like, "Careful, my love. He's very sensitive." Just like me. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, well, okay, so Flash and Aura, the princess, are flying the spaceship, and she's showing him the controls of the spaceship, first of all, so that's great. And as she's teaching, like, in the middle of getting him to drive the thing, she literally, like, straddles him and is like, "Let me show you." And then starts making out, and it's just like, this is awesome. And even, like, undoes his belt, which was a step further than I thought this movie was going to go. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're doing this? Sure.
Release the triple X-rated Flash Gordon movie.
Yeah, please.
Release the Hodge cut.
It's so interesting. It's so interesting to see men talk about this scene because I hated it.
It was hilarious. And Naki, it made me burst out laughing because of how freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, okay, just to be clear, none of us took it seriously. We just thought it was hysterical.
I know. I'm just making fun, but still, I was just so fully uncomfortable. I literally felt like I was 5 years old watching a kiss scene with my mom and dad in it. I hated it, and I was alone, and it was just so intense. Like, like so much more erotic than I expected them to go with it. But
right?
You know, like I see your point.
But it was just, I felt like it was honestly very light, and in the sense that it was lighthearted in most of it. Like, this is so ridiculous, you can't possibly take this seriously.
It's lighthearted, but it's still rather explicit for something
that
I
came
assume
out
is
this time as
and
well.
also it's like this is a kids movie, right? Like
it's for like 13-year-old boys, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess 13-year-old boys would enjoy it.
Me as a 13-year-old would have probably loved this movie even more. Like, I liked it, but I think I would have loved it if I was 13.
No, see, that's the thing. It was just so beyond all of the guys are thirsty, they want sex, all the the sex slaves and stuff like that, on top of just the awesome armor and weapons and being in a spaceship and fighting evil,
And flying
oh my
people.
god, and being like a buff football star, that's like the freaking dream, right?
Hawk people are
definitely.
like my favorite in terms of like things that I want to exist.
So if I were definitely like a preview like 10, 11, 12, 13, I would have freaking loved this so much. And I still did, to be honest.
Yeah.
It gave me a lot of enjoyment. I got a lot of enjoyment out of this movie.
Me too.
Anaki, what was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene was the spiky battle
Oh my god.
with
That's a good
Baron. His name's Baron, right?
His name's
Prince
Baron.
Baron.
I thought he was a baron. I was
No,
confused.
his name is Prince Baron, and so that's not confusing at all.
It's like
Yeah.
Barin. I had subtitles on, so I saw it a couple times.
But yeah, like I guess to give a bit of context, so Prince Baron is one of obviously the princes that Flash has to enlist essentially to go against Ming, and Baron is also in love with Princess Aura. But he's like very reluctant, and it's very much like a who's the bigger man kind of battle. This battle is also kind of fueled by Aura because I guess Baron sees Flash as like his number one competitor, I guess, amongst everyone else too. Which is like, yeah, but
Not wrong.
But anyway, so they're fighting on like this disc, and out of nowhere, Volton, who's like one of the Hawkmen, just like spikes just appear. They just appear, and like they conveniently are not there when they fall and stuff, and it's just
no, he's using the remote and he's messing with them.
okay.
He
That's
like
fair.
turns them on and off, and he turns them on in sections because he wants them to keep getting up and fighting. So like whenever they're laying there and someone's about to like do a killing blow, he uses the spike so that the person will get up.
Okay.
It makes sense. It's
It
stupid,
makes sense.
but
It's
it makes
just
sense.
it's still stupid, and it's
Yeah.
stupid in the best way, and it's this really awesome campy fight scene, and I love how at the end, of course, Flash has to save Baron's life, and of course Baron like immediately is like, this is a man.
I really did think that Baron was gonna throw him off when he saved it.
I thought so
And
too.
like Flash would have to like figure out a way to stop himself from falling. Like that's what I thought.
But I feel like that would have been too complex of a move for this movie to make.
Absolutely. It's all about camaraderie, masculinity.
My favorite part in that scene is Dale on the outside. Like they're literally fighting to the death, and Dale randomly says, Flash, I love you, but we only have 14 hours left to save the Earth. And it's like, it just comes out of nowhere. The I love you comes out of nowhere. And the fact that like they're literally fighting to death, and she's just like, hurry it up,
They had
guys.
to set that up for so that afterward they could be engaged.
Yes, because they get engaged right before this, right before they go for a fight.
Right before.
They're
sorry.
like Flash Gordon proposes to Dale, and it's like, this is amazing. We're pulling a
But just
Pirates
to
of the
be clear,
Caribbean here.
Just
And
to be
by the
clear,
way,
doesn't propose, just says let's have kids together. It doesn't
Yeah.
actually suggest marriage.
and I mean that's a whole nother story.
Honey, where's the ring?
How quickly their relationship progresses from literal like strangers.
Yeah.
I'm not realizing until now that the love, like I love you, wasn't said until they were already engaged.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even say I love you until after they were planning marriage.
A good strategy.
Also,
it's a good way.
So at the
It's very
beginning,
Utah.
she's a travel agent. That's what's known about her. She's a travel agent who's afraid of airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
And then within the next 24 hours, this all transpires.
Yeah.
No, it's like the next 11 days, remember?
I thought he had, or no, maybe it was less than that.
Even
'Cause
if
But still.
Well, no, I was gonna say even if in exposition they say 11 days, it does not feel like 11 days. It's like it feels like all of this happens maybe in like 6 hours in terms of like how fast it moves in the movie.
A lot of travel time.
Which makes
Yeah,
me
I guess
wonder,
so.
like, it's such an art. It's like, it's again, it is just leaning into the dumb action movie tropes of having a completely arbitrary countdown until you lose, you know? And it's just not, I mean, it's obviously things that would probably take 6 hours. It's like, no, this has happened in 11 days because we say so, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, It's great.
So
I have mixed
Jonathan, what
feelings
was your
about that,
favorite
though,
scene?
Jonathan. Sorry, before we move on.
Yeah.
And it's just that saying, well, I do groan and I roll my eyes at these cliches too. When something's 40 years old and the cliches are less established, or on the other hand, that they lean into the cliches so much because, again, they're referencing something from the 1930s. And two, it is kind of like MacGyver classic, like action thing.
Yeah.
It's still a very, very cliched movie. Like even for the time. I mean, Star Wars, and also this is where I think the visual effects stuff breaks down. Star Wars was 3 years before this. Like,
I completely disagree. I think that this movie looks really good.
I'm not saying it was bad. I'm saying it's very cliched. I loved it. Like, we'll get to ratings, but I'm just saying, like, I think you do need to say, like there are a lot of things that are not good about it, but those not good things are not good in the great way.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
do you guys know the connection this movie has to Star Wars?
Oh, no.
Yes. Basically, my understanding is George Lucas came around and he says, hey, I want to make a Flash Gordon movie. But he couldn't get the rights. So he says, okay, well, I guess I can't make Flash Gordon. I'm going to make my own Flash Gordon then. And he makes Star Wars.
So Luke Skywalker is his Flash Gordon.
Something like that, yeah.
And it's
Makes
like
sense, honestly.
he couldn't get the rights from the producer of this movie, the producer Dino De
Laurentiis. He's like a really famous producer. He's produced
Yeah.
so many, like 36 movies have won Oscars of his or something like that. It's ridiculous.
And it's funny because this feels like a very much a passion project for him, and he was super picky with like director and everything that happened for this movie. So yeah, I just think, I don't know. And also, like, with picking Queen, like, Queen wasn't even his first choice. He wanted Pink Floyd, and they rejected him. So he was like, I guess I'll get this unknown band named Queen or something.
That's awesome.
Wait.
I'm just joking. But, like,
Okay, wait. I was like, this is 1980. There's
no,
no
but
way.
it's just, I'm just saying it's so funny to me that he was like,
He settled for Queen.
Him
He settled
settling
for
was
Queen.
choosing Queen.
yeah.
I wish I could settle for Queen.
Exactly. Wait, I don't think we got Jonathan's
Yeah,
favorite.
that's what I was saying. Jonathan.
No, and unfortunately, Anaki, you took my favorite scene
I'm
because
sorry.
I just love the visual of literally a dude who looks like Robin Hood fighting a football player while a Viking with angel wings is cheering them on. But
And trying to kill them with spikes.
and trying to kill them. And also, they both have whips. Like, that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Super good.
But my favorite part is I'm gonna steal this ending scene because Flash Gordon succeeds where the Last Skywalker fails for me. Because in the Last Skywalker,
We should
there's
probably
that
say a
scene.
spoiler warning for this.
I haven't watched
It's
it.
pretty recent.
You haven't watched it?
I haven't watched it. Don't spoil it for me.
I
Wait,
also have not
are you
watched it.
joking?
I'm
It's been like a
sorry.
year and a half, hasn't it?
I'm sorry.
I've also not watched it.
Okay.
Listen,
What have we not watched?
Everything
Last-
if it's Elizabeth.
after the events of the seventh movie, my heart was too broken.
I
I've
liked
watched
8.
it.
You haven't seen Last Jedi?
I've watched.
I liked 8. I liked The Last
No.
Jedi.
I watched.
I liked The Last Jedi, and I heard that The Rise of Skywalker like canceled everything out, so that's why I never saw it.
Something like that. Yeah. Well,
But
here.
I liked The Last Jedi, and I didn't want the
I'm
retcon.
so tempted to get into an argument right now.
Let's
but
do
I'm
it.
not going to, and let's talk about Flash Gordon because we can make a
I-
whole different video for this.
I'll put it in the list of things.
So it's list.
I'll say this: I liked Last Jedi as a movie, but not as a Star Wars movie, and I'm just gonna leave it at
To be
that.
fair, I never really liked Star Wars that much.
Now,
So I think what it was that I really liked it because it was like actually a movie. I feel like
Yeah.
Star Wars just sort of isn't.
yeah, I feel you.
Yeah,
I
just never been
hated
a
it on
Star
all
Wars
accounts,
guy.
you guys. I thought it was a bad movie. I thought it was a bad Star Wars movie. I thought I had bad writing. I thought I had
Last
bad
Jedi?
Yes, I thought
I
Last
think-
Jedi, except for 2 scenes that were very, very well done. Besides that, I thought it was awful. I thought it was
Really,
terrible.
even on a technical level?
No, not on a technical level. I mean, they're
Okay, I was
putting
gonna
so
say,
much
I thought it was,
money
like,
into
really
that.
well-
I mean, how could they possibly mess up.
Oh, are you kidding me? You can mess up with a lot of money.
I'm going to say this then. I'll say this.
Sorry.
So in The Rise of Skywalker, there's this part of the battle that has space horses, okay? And Flash Gordon, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Flash Gordon does this same scene but better. Basically, there's these flying they're called Hawkmen. They fly, but they're basically called angels, or they're basically angels, right? So there's these flying angels, and Gordon's on this like rocket ship thing, and it's just hundreds of these angels, and they fly and they descend onto this huge spaceship, and the guards of the spaceship are being called to help out to defend. And there's this huge battle on the spaceship between angels and these guards that are just outfitted super imperially, and they're having fist fights on top of the spaceship. They're getting blown off the spaceship, and people are dying by the droves. And it's awesome. And there's huge explosions, and there's like so many more lasers than there could be guns on this spaceship. There's just lasers like coming out of people's asses basically at this point.
It's magic, Jonathan. Okay.
It's not magic.
I mean, there is magic going on. She freaking kisses him back to life, baby.
No, because there's a drug. It wasn't magic. It was like a
is that
Romeo and
what it was?
Juliet thing.
I mean,
Yeah,
what
there
about
was a
the
drug.
what about the sexy dance? Right? Is that not magic?
That was
That
it's
might be
advanced
magic.
science and telepathy.
Okay, I would
Get
say
your act together.
telepathy in this universe is really not that far. This guy wait, actually, maybe I'm getting the scene wrong.
Any sufficiently advanced technology is indifferentiable. Indistinguishable from magic.
Does he contact Dale without any kind of apparatus? I don't
No,
remember.
he
has an apparatus.
He uses telepathy at one point to contact Dale, and that's a funny scene because he is contacting Dale telepathically and talking to her while the Princess Aura is making out with him.
Yeah.
And so he's using thought to communicate with Dale. And while this is going on with the princess, he thinks, this girl is really turning me on. And that gets sent to Dale. And Dale's like, what are you talking about?
Dale's like, I don't think I heard you right. It's like,
Yeah.
It's telepathy. There is no way you didn't hear that.
Yeah, Flash is just like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
He literally says, that wasn't about you. He
Oh,
says
yeah.
those words.
Way more obvious about that. Yeah.
And let's just remember that this woman gets engaged to Flash
Like
A couple
3 days.
10 hours later.
The final battle, though, I feel like we should talk about several things. The thing I really want to talk about is the wedding. There are two things that are details that I think were two of my favorite things in the movie.
I know where
which
this is
is
going.
All creatures will make merry under pain of death, which is written on a blimp that just goes by in the background during the wedding. It's just... And one of the vows that he makes, the Emperor Ming, to the girl is it's like, I take you and I promise not to blast you into space until I grow wary of you. And it's like, I kind of want to put that in a wedding vow. Like,
That'd be awesome.
Obviously as a joke, but I feel like if a girl that I was with really liked that idea, like just jokingly, that would go in our vows. My mom was like, do not do that. I will boycott your wedding, but I might.
My favorite part of the wedding is that in this Mongo empire, that is this space culture, at this huge wedding, the song that plays as she's walking down the aisle is literally Here Comes the Bride on like an electric guitar turned up to 11. It's awesome.
It is awesome. So Ming is marrying Dale, and meanwhile Flash is like sacrificing himself basically, because he's gonna
Blow up the electric safety field.
yeah, and he needs to
Think the ending of Dune.
yeah. He needs to steer the ship to do it. And
It's kind of a Captain America kind of thing.
yeah, and
as well.
Voltan is like, hey dude, we need to go. Flash is like, nah man, I'm chill. Tell Dale I know it would have been good. And then Voltan leaves. And that's meant to be the final words he says to the woman he loves.
Well, he never said I love you. He just says it would have been good and we should have kids.
You're right. That makes it worse.
All he says.
I love this movie so much.
That and I'm a New York girl is all she replies to that.
It's the classic masculine bravado, right? It's like in Star Wars when Leia says "I love you" and Han Solo says "I know," and it makes me want to slap him across the face.
No. Sorry,
excuse me. That's Inaki's king.
I'm a little biased towards Han Solo, okay? But don't tell me I know and tell Dale I know it would have been good or equivalent.
Hey, I know is in both. It's the same thing. It's basically the same movie.
Things are totally different.
I mean, I think he's just trying to say it would have worked out, right?
Maybe, but I mean, it's just very like
in several ways.
A wink.
Yeah, okay, maybe I'm being a little too harsh, but I just thought that line was super funny.
Okay, so I guess this is going multiple ways because Prince Baron, or as I like to call him, Robin Hood, Space Robin Hood, is basically gets out of prison, says that if they survive, he and Aura are going to get married. And he's basically shooting all the guards. And he takes down the lightning shield. And then what happens is, because the lightning shield is down, Gordon smashes through the window of the wedding and literally impales Ming with the spaceship. And it's awesome. And I was watching this with my roommates, and at that point, we all just yelled because it's so cheesy. And it's like, there's no way that would happen.
I laughed directly through the last 20 minutes of this movie.
Oh, it was great.
It was sick.
Like, I didn't stop laughing the whole time. My mom was like, "It's the final battle. You're supposed to take it seriously." I was like, "No, you're not." Like,
no, there's no way.
You can't.
And I'm gonna say this special effect is seconded only by the death of the head of the secret police, which this guy wears a mask and his face literally raiders through the lost arcs out of his head, and like his eyes like squeeze out and like his whole face melts off for no reason.
I feel like there might be an explanation in the comics. I have no idea.
A lot of the aliens have like different blood. Like there's the one guy that turns into black goo, and then there's like the green blood of Ming.
Also, you'll notice as Jonathan called them, the Wakandans got stabbed, and it was purple blood.
Yeah, everyone has different blood, which is like the whole thing, which is funny because humans are all like, all the races are fine because we all share the same color blood, but we all bleed red. And then this movie's like, actually.
By the way, how did the secret police guy die again? I like looked away.
He got thrown on the spikes.
Where he just got like.
Oh yeah, the spikes. How could I forget this? I just like. I feel like if you look away for a second, you'll come back, and it's you're on a different planet, different characters. Like it just happens so fast. But that's what's great. Like it never gets boring. There's just always a new setting, new people.
Yeah, like I have trouble watching movies late at night because of my ADHD. Like, my meds are off and my attention span's short. Like this movie is ADHD, so like it's not problematic at all to watch it anytime.
Yeah.
Like you guys were saying, there's a surprising amount of stuff going on. Like, there's like awesome battles and like lots of planets, but there's also like court intrigue and like political things going on and like internal politics.
Ming offers Gordon a kingdom for like 2 minutes of the movie.
Oh yeah, he does this cool thing where he's like, if you stop fighting me, I will, integrate Earth into our empire, and you can rule it as a prince.
Yeah, it really does feel like James Bond is a space opera.
Okay. Yeah, no, exactly.
I have to say, with how like, yes, there is all this stuff, but also when Ming is offering him like to be ruler of the earth, he's like, they'll all become your slaves, and our hero
slaves.
They'll be satisfied
with less.
They'll be satisfied with less. And Flash Gordon honestly considers this, and he's like, you know what? Maybe that's not bad. But then he's like, well, what about Dale? And the thing that makes him like say no is the fact that Ming wants to marry Dale, and like it's so funny.
I'm Imagine a cut of this
believe
movie
it.
where he's like, "Fine, I'll let you have Dale," and he's like, "Okay, go ahead and do that to Earth."
Go
Yeah.
ahead, go ahead and make Earth slaves. Oh,
Like
Yeah.
he really was considering it. And
And that's just the end of the movie. Like everyone is still enslaved except Flash Gordon is now the ruler of Earth. Which you could interpret as commentary on like the cult of personality of football players or something.
oh my, y'all are getting
this movie's
so
not
serious.
This movie's not bad.
It is.
It
I
has
was gonna say
deep
something, but I'm
roots.
gonna-
Is why the movie by itself doesn't have much to contribute, but I would say the context behind it holds a lot.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's fair.
So at the end of this thing, Gordon says, "Look, just spare Earth, and I'll spare your life, Ming." Which I don't think he has the power to do because Ming's basically dead now anyway because he's been literally impaled.
Mhm.
And Ming goes, another cliche, right? He goes, "My life is not for an Earthling to give or take." And then he kills himself by using
No.
the
He
ring
doesn't
on
kill himself. He tries to use the ring on Flash, but he's too weak, and so he pours his life force into the ring, and it kills him.
I don't think that's what happened.
how I saw it.
The way I saw it is he puts the ring. He can tell that the ring won't work on Flash because he doesn't have enough power, so he uses the ring on himself.
Oh, that
Because
also works.
He says, my life is too valuable for an Earthling to take, so I'll take it myself. You can't fire me. I quit, kind of thing.
I would
Except life.
I would agree with you, Jonathan, but they were definitely planning for a sequel.
Oh no, 100%, they were.
So I feel like Ming put himself inside of his ring, but he's still alive.
Yeah, and then there's the
Like
end question mark, which is the hallmark of any good movie.
And that's why you
it ends
see
with a
the
question
black
mark.
hand grab the gloved hand grab the ring as if ooh.
Yeah.
The hallmark of literally every great classic is a question mark at the end.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's a good movie.
Yeah.
But our plot finally resolves because Flash has this timer on his spaceship of when the moon is going to crash into Earth. And by the time he's battling with me, he has 15 seconds left. And then the timer runs out and Gordon goes, "Oh no, the Earth is lost." And then Space Robin Hood comes in and says, "Hey, you know that thing that was making the moon crash into the Earth? You know the whole point of this movie? I turned it off screen."
Yeah.
And then they literally go, yeah!
Yeah!
And then it freeze frames and it moves on.
Oh yeah, it freezes for a second. It freezes for a second from the fisheye camera of the weird little robot.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
He comes back. The lizard man robot comes back. The one that killed the lizard man in the fisheye view, and then just says, "Good job, Flash," and then just freeze frame from his view of them jumping in the air like it's a sorority girl picture.
So good. And that's basically the end of the movie of them it's a celebration basically, and that's it.
Thanks, Flash made it of Hawkmen. They do sky painting.
Yeah, that part is awesome.
Yeah. So
There's just so many
classic.
little awesome things in this movie. I could go on and on and on.
For real.
It seems like every 30 seconds there's something just absolutely ridiculous but awesome happening,
Yeah.
Okay,
And-
so what about lessons? My moral would be make sure someone is dead before you leave, because Emperor Ming does it 4 times in the movie. He never makes sure someone's dead at any point.
My moral of the story is I don't know. I can't think of mine. Everything goes well for you as long as you're hot.
That's just Hollywood. That's all of Hollywood.
That's true.
I like to do it more about the filmmaking. And honestly, I adored the sets and the costumes so much that I would say no matter how campy and bad a movie is, you can still express your art and it will still be appreciated by someone, meaning me. So, hell yeah, whoever did the costumes and the sets, because it was Oscar worthy.
So I'm going to give my rating.
Okay, we're just going to do ratings. Wait, we have to
I think so.
Wait, okay, before you guys do any of that, have any of you guys seen the movie Hot Fuzz?
Yes.
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 Well, Prince Baron is in that movie.
Yes, I know.
As who?
Yes, because Michael was saying nobody. Oh, nobody is. I know him.
I know.
He's an awesome
wait,
and
who is he in
handsome
this
British
movie?
man. Honestly, he is. He's kind of like this dapper guy when in his early age, and then he became like this fancy.
Who is he in Hot Fuzz?
He's like the
Do you know that one clip of he's
Skinner.
smiling in front of his own photo, smiling exactly the same way?
He's the owner of the grocery store.
Oh, okay.
He's got the mustache. He pretty much looks like how he does in this film.
Yeah, okay.
Just
Yeah.
older.
It's been like years since I've seen Hot Fuzz.
Mhm.
Honestly, I need to rewatch that. But yeah, okay. Yeah, you got me, Pear. Nice.
Okay.
All right, everyone. On the count of 3, we're gonna do ratings. Everyone, put your thumbs up or whatever, or down, or however you're gonna do it. All right, 3, 2. Okay, so we have 3 thumbs up, 4 thumbs up, and a pinky up. Is
Awesome.
our so 4.5 thumbs is our overall rating for this one up.
Is this as high as Little Shop?
I think it
Or-
is.
I was tempted to give it a pinky down, but I was like,
I
you know
was as
what?
well, honestly. I decided the no thumb would be my pinky.
it's just I tend to judge each movie individually,
Mhm.
and I have to say, based on this movie's merits, I really liked it.
Yeah, so like this is a movie where it's like there is a lot good here. They're doing a lot with what they have. It's still got a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was why I gave it a thumbs up and then another
What
thumb.
problems did it have?
Besides all the like racism and whatnot, I would say
Yeah.
the fact that like a lot of the special effects were dated even for the time. And I would say like a lot of the plot points just like didn't really get connected back in. Like, okay, the whole agent thing, like
That's totally thrown out the window immediately.
yeah, it was just thrown out the window. Like he's got his brain wiped, and then he's like, "No, I remember
I
everything
didn't."
because I thought about the Talmud, like
And the Beatles.
and the Beatles." Like, and it's like, yeah, but then how would you know? Because he clearly got the agent messages, or he wouldn't have known to leave when he did and go where he went. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like clearly, when he was activated, he was working as an agent, and it is just like, nah, got you, like. So I don't know. That's why I didn't get a higher rating. But I really enjoyed a lot of it.
I had mixed feelings about it, but in the end, I have to say I think I would enjoy it far less if it weren't true to its source material. And honestly, I think it's almost similar to whitewashing to say that we have to scrub out everything that is xenophobic or racist, which I know it is bad. It's obviously bad, but in my mind, and you guys can interpret this however you want, in my mind, being truthful to the source material is important. And I would say that pretty much wiping that all away, because that was kind of the whole point, is that, hey, we're strong as Americans, people from the East are scary and weird, right? And I feel like just abandoning that is like not making a Flash Gordon film.
I think
terrible as it is.
I think my only issue with that perspective would be like, you know, inherently by doing it and staying true to the source material, you're introducing new people to xenophobic viewpoints.
I can understand how, but
especially
when
a movie that is
something-
like aimed at kids that are more impressionable and more likely to be like, yeah, we hate Ming. Like, I think keeping that going is necessarily not as valuable as like you can still preserve the original thing and not create new work that prolongs its impact on the cultural zeitgeist.
Right, but I as that kind of what I would say to that is that I feel like it's incredibly important to acknowledge history.
I think it is too. Absolutely, and I think that's like there are definitely a lot of movies that are very important for that. I'm just saying, I think creating new versions of it,
Oh,
and like,
of course.
This movie doesn't do anything to say, hey, that was bad. Like,
Right.
It does nothing of the sort, and I think that's what I have a problem with. It's like, you know, if you're kind of creating this thing from history and you're trying to stay true to it, it's one thing. But like, you know how like a lot of things nowadays are trying to like put like markers in front that are like, this is, you know, there's a reason why we're showing this. It's important, but at the same
Everything
time,
is
like,
about a message
product of its
nowadays,
time.
for sure.
Yeah, but I think inherently there's a lot of message because of the source material. So I don't know. I think it's important to not to make sure it isn't, even if incidentally, glorified.
So pretty much, I think glorifying it is bad, but I also don't think that's what this movie is doing. I think that in a lot of recent years is that movies always have a message. It's always about what the message is coming across. I feel like this movie didn't really have a message. It was more of just, hey, Flash Gordon is awesome, and we're paying an homage to the old comics, right? It's saying, hey, look at Asian people. Look at what these Asian people are doing. I feel like that's really hard to sparse from this movie with all of it that it's doing. How can you really take out that one detail and be like, oh, it's attacking Asian people? Well,
like
again,
for sure. Like I'm not saying I hated the movie. Like I said, I gave it a positive rating. It was just like I'm saying. I think it's important to recognize its problems.
Sure.
Right? What does everyone else think? What did everyone else give their ratings for?
Okay. My rating was a thumbs up and a closed fist. I'll start with the positive. I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's just like so over the top and fun, and it's just like something you can kind of turn on and be mindless with. But I think, yeah, there are issues with plot. I think that the acting, even though it's meant to be campy, is still sometimes unbearably bad.
Dale especially. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Dale especially
Dale
is
is so
a
bad.
terrible actress. I'm sorry, she is.
And
it was really bad.
No, she is.
And so is Flash, honestly.
No,
It
Flash.
was so
I
really-
can't
yeah.
remember. I can't remember if Flash was nominated or won a Razzie Award for Worst Actor.
Mhm.
But
Which
like,
I thought you were about to defend his acting, and I was like, absolutely not.
No,
I'll go
no.
on this with you.
But like, again, there's some moments where like the bad acting and it being over the top is really fun and enjoyable. So it's like, it's difficult because even though I had such a fun time with the movie, I feel like I still can't quite give it like a totally positive rating because there are just some like, it's objectively not a good movie.
Dive.
Yeah. And also, so the racism issue is one thing which I think we can continue discussing after we do ratings, I guess. But I had issues with the female characters, and like,
Of course, yeah.
this is where what you said is like really interesting, Pear, because I haven't read the source material, and so I'm not sure if that's exactly how they are depicted. And I think I'd have more of a problem
I'm
if
sure it is. It's based off of the same thing as like,
yeah.
you know, Rogers. What's his name? Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers.
Buck
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's like that.
Yeah.
Like it's for sure damsels in distress all around.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue that it wasn't that. It was just more of
It's
that.
very.
This is what they wanted to perpetuate at the time, right? Is that they want to empower young men into protecting women, into thinking that they're heroes because they're American, right?
Yeah, and I think like I'd have more of a problem, and I'd be like more negative towards it if this is released now, and like you know,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and again, like I feel like if me as a kid watched this, I don't think I'd enjoy it as a kid because all I see the woman doing is like either being super super sexy or just like for some reason clinging on to Flash for like whatever reason. So it's just like that's the issue I had. And like even Melody, the actress for Dale, she in an interview she talked about how like she struggled so hard with this role because she had no idea how she was supposed to like add nuance or even like depth or at all to it.
I will say,
honestly,
as
really
much as
could.
I like, you know, I feel for her and everything. She struggled with this role. Could have just truncated the sentence there, and it would not have been inaccurate. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not again. Like, I feel like this is just a hard discussion to have because I like viewing it now. That isn't necessarily what I focused on, but it is definitely like a glaring issue that I
think the princess
noticed.
is acting pretty good. Like, it's clearly a very one-dimensional character, but I think she like does it pretty well. Like the whole thing was like my father never kept a promise. Like that scene is like actually pretty well done.
Actually, I would say the princess is a far better character than Dale. She has some nuance to her.
So I don't know. Any closing thoughts? Like, let's not go back into the whole
Wait.
like.
Yeah, Jonathan, you give your
Oh, yeah,
rating and
Jonathan.
why.
Yeah. So I gave it 2 thumbs up because racism and sexism aside, there's nothing wrong with this movie. It's awesome. It has definitely like no, I'm serious. Like there are no problems with this movie because it has pulled off the feat of making every bad thing about it makes it better. Is literally what it is. And I think that's a cheap way to go a lot of times, but it doesn't feel cheap with Flash Gordon. because it feels very intentional, and like that's the point. And one thought that kept going through my mind is I really love the first Guardians of the Galaxy, and this is what Guardians of the Galaxy would have been if it had come out in the 70s. You know what I'm saying?
That's actually pretty true.
And I just love it because it's all the cool stuff about space that I love, and I just have a weakness for.
So this movie just like really appealed to your inner child, is what I'm hearing.
100%, yes. Yeah. And like confident art direction, there were like legitimately interesting things going on. Like we didn't even talk about the secret police, but there was a lot of cool stuff going on there, and with costumes and with art direction. Long story short, I just loved this movie so much.
Very valid, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like if like even the things that I criticized it for in terms of like the script and stuff, if they like did a remake and fixed all of those issues, I would hate that remake. So like I feel like that's a good point of like the bad stuff. Like it's just a completely different movie, like altogether. If you try and change too much.
I like the idea of like I'm pretty sure there were like 2 or 3 Hawkmen that were just copy pasted like 300 times for the army.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you look, their body posture and everything is identical to each other. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of things like that like if they fixed it, it wouldn't be as good. It would be boring.
Yeah.
Okay, I know how we're gonna end this. Here's another question: would you rather know when you were gonna die or how you were gonna die?
When?
How?
How?
And
when
why?
would suck, man? When would suck? Knowing.
No, because what if how is like driving? What do you just never drive again? Like,
No,
like you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, you take that risk every day, anyways, right?
yeah, but if you know how, you're gonna be terrified every time you do that. Like, because you're like, this is how I die. It's just a matter of when. I would rather know when.
That's what I think.
I would
Because
just
then
drive
you could set up your life. You only plan your savings so that you could retire. Like, so you run out the day you're gonna die. Like, there's so many things you could do. You could try to do a bucket list. Like, you could establish your entire life based on that.
I think practically it might be better, but I think when you're actually faced with the date of your own death, there's going to be some.
I would love to know.
Michael's answer proves that he's a stat major.
That's true.
He's so like
it's
logical.
It's so likely that the how you're gonna die is gonna be something very common. You know what I mean?
True.
Like it's so likely that you're not likely to gain any information that can really help you, and you're just gonna live in fear of that thing, whatever it may be.
But either way, there's an element of fear, right?
Well,
so
no, but the fear is not of. But then you could really embrace life because there's no longer unknowns of like what is going to kill you. If you know when, start taking insane risks that you just know you'll somehow live through. Like there's so many cool things you could do. Start jumping out of planes. You know,
that's a good point. Actually,
that's true.
There's so much you can do.
I see why you were an avid debater.
I still disagree.
I just
Elizabeth has to go.
Okay, we're done.
Right.
You are such an idiot.
Thanks everyone for listening. We'll
I'm
see you
totally
next
messing
time.
with you. Pear,
my guess for Pear's major is theology.
Ooh, that's a good
theology. That would be an interesting one.
But it's
no,
not.
I've taken theology classes, but no.
All right.
I'm gonna find you in the CIS directory.
No. We have to guess it naturally. How dare you? All right. Bye.
All right, we're gonna go offline now. Okay, we are no longer streaming.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Late Train. I had some fun and difficulties editing it, so please enjoy. As always, the link to our website will always be in the description. Please follow us on our social media and share with your friends if you enjoyed. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. We have a lot of big plans coming up on there. You can always email us at thelatetrainpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to join us next time, we will be watching The Last Voyage. So, thanks for listening. I'll see y'all later.